Well, welcome to the class. We are so glad that you have joined us. Welcome, KK from Georgia. We've got Jerry Lee from Arizona. We've got hey Tony, you live in 20
Where
minutes
is
away
she?
from Jerry Lee. That just blows my mind. Matthew doesn't even know that. But we're very excited about tonight's class. And it is being recorded so that I can post it on my or my YouTube channel, Healthy Living Inspirations. And hopefully other people can replay that so that we want to just reach people with this amazing message. Welcome, Deborah. And so we're going to continue to welcome people, but I want to start with introducing Tony because he's going to start us out with the posture of prayer because we are a faith-based ministry and we believe that when you have faith in a living God, that it makes all the difference in our mental state and our ability for our body to heal as it properly was created to do so. So go ahead, Tony. You want to start us out with prayer?
Absolutely. Well, it's good to see everybody here. And I hope we're going to have an interesting 12-week journey. It's going to be interesting for me, that's for sure. So looking forward to it. But let's kick off with some prayer so we can get going because LaVonne and I have got a lot of information we're going to get through in our 1 hour time slot. So, Father, we just thank you for this time that we have. I thank you for the folks that are on this call. And I pray, Lord, that you just guide myself and LaVonne and help us just to get a message across with love, Lord. I know sometimes I can be straightforward and it might sound a bit funky. It might sound a bit harsh, but I just call it the way I see it, Lord. So Holy Spirit, just help me choose my words correctly and get this message across, Lord. And I just thank you for the change that's going to happen in everybody. Even if it's just a change of heart, a change of mind, that they can later down the road make some better choices in terms of their health and just being able to live a healthier, longer life. So, Father, we just thank you for life that you've given us.
Let's go in here, shall we?
And we pray, Lord, that we'll have life in abundance.
Let's go in the
And we
bedroom.
thank you for that in Jesus' wonderful name. Amen.
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 Right.
Amen.
So,
Amen. So, Tony, you were going to officiate going around the group as I do a share. Let me go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint that we're going to kind of reference for us
and
today.
LaVonne, while you're doing that, let me just say something to the folks as well.
Sure.
If you don't have pen and paper at the moment, I would suggest scramble now before we get started. Grab something to write on and write with, because you're going to want to take notes. There's going to be some calculations that have to be done, real basic stuff, 4th grade math, so it's not complicated. I want to keep it as simple as possible, but there's a few things you're going to have to write down because you need to take, moving forward, you need to use those calculations, in working a few things out for your benefit. So, yes, LaVonne has got awesome PowerPoint. I know she spent hours doing it. And hopefully everything that we want to get across to you folks makes sense. All right. It's not complicated stuff. It really isn't. Our bodies are incredible machines. There's a lot that happens inside of us, but it all depends on what we put into our bodies and what we do with our bodies. And that part isn't complicated. That's real easy to do. So we want to try and keep it simple, and hopefully everybody's going to benefit in some way. All right, no matter how small, we want to know. So when we come back next week, if you guys can have just something that you found of benefit in the week, something that you did, a change that you made that you found is working, anything positive that's happening. And if it's negative, we don't want to hear about it. Unless it's a problem you're having that needs help. Okay, we'll help. Don't misunderstand me. That's what we're here for. We are to help. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to just give some information. Same with LaVonne. like she says, my biggest goal is to see people live healthy, happy lives. I don't want to, and this is just me, I don't want to have to walk around one day when I'm, oh goodness, in my family's lineage, I'm going to live to 100. So I don't want to be 100 years old, dragging my oxygen tank around with me just so I can get from point A to point B. I'm not looking forward to that. And I don't want to have to go for the exam with the doctor where he slaps on a rubber glove and tells me to bend over so he can see what's going on in my prostate. I don't want that to happen. All right.
Amen.
That's right.
I went to, I landed up, this is just a side note real quick. Shows my sense of humor. Just so I want to set the tone up front. I landed up in hospital probably about 2 years ago with an abscess on my colon. And I'm lying in the emergency room, and the doctor, they did an x-ray, and they said, oh, they found there's an abscess and there's a little, what do you call the thing, the little bulge that appears. Sorry, Matt?
Polyp?
No, not the polyp, the one that pops out.
Hemorrhoid.
No, inside on my colon. LaVonne, you know what it is. Come on, spit it out.
Polyp.
No, not the
No,
polyps. Polyps are the things. Polyps on the inside. This one where it pops out.
Her
tumor.
Okay.
Anyways, whatever it was, okay. And they said, oh, you got this, and there's an abscess on that one. And he says, have you ever had a colonoscopy? I said, hell no. Why not? He says. I said, well, that's a one-way street. Nothing is going in there. I'm sorry. I'm not signing up for that. So, no. But anyways, my son was there in the emergency room with me, and when he heard me say that, I thought he was going to fall out of his chair laughing so much. And the doctor's like, okay, all right. There are other ways to test. I thought, why don't they start with that? All right. Yeah. Why don't they start with the other ways before they start ramming things where they shouldn't go? But anyways, that's besides the point. That's got nothing to do with health and weight loss. All right. So,
so that's Tony's front door, back door experience.
Yeah, no, it's
So I want to officially introduce Tony. Tony has been a personal friend for about almost 14 years now. He and his wife are in Arizona with their 3 children. One just escaped the nest, and that was the son. But Tony is an engineer by trade. He and his lovely wife is from South Africa. And he's also a certified nutritionist. He loves helping people, and he thinks methodically like an engineer thinks, how to take the components, put them together, and which one's not working, figure out why it's not working. And so that's why his verbiage is sometimes, okay, you need to do this, this, and this, and then that machine will start working again. But he's a great friend. He's a man of God. He loves God. He conducts his household with the utmost integrity. And I have traveled with Tony and his wife and his family pretty much many places out of the country, and tell you that Tony and his wife and their family are the same no matter where we go, because their character is Christ-like. And when your character is Christ-like, let me tell you, you're the same no matter where you're at. So Tony, I wanted Tony to introduce our guidelines of what we're going to be doing, weight loss without regrets, and health with great benefits. So it doesn't matter if you're here to lose weight or if you're here just to get healthy, you are in the right place at the right time. So Tony,
absolutely.
I'm going to flip the slide, and we're just going to go over about an expectation of the class.
Perfect. I will say this, LaVonne was saying, whether you're here just to get healthy or you're here to lose weight, those two go hand in hand. And a lot of people might confuse the sequence of those two. They think, let me lose some weight, and then I can start getting healthy and do better things. And our goal for this 12-week program is to show you that we need to reverse that way of thinking. We have to get healthy first, then we will lose weight. Weight loss is a side effect. It's a benefit of getting healthy. All right. So we are going to focus on on supplements, on food, on some exercise. And the exercise one, I'm going to have a lot of you get a lot of feedback to LaVonne and me. Oh, no, that doesn't make sense. But you know what? If you give me just 2 minutes, I'll explain it all. But that's down the road. Okay. So exercise important, but we've got to do the right exercise. We don't want to just go run on a treadmill and destroy everything that we're trying to do here. Okay. And it always tickles me when I'm in the gym. I see people running on that treadmill for an hour while I'm in the gym pumping iron. I'm thinking they drive to the gym to go run on a treadmill. Why don't they just run to the gym? All right. They're on a bicycle pedaling away. Get on your bicycle and pedal to the gym. And then when you're at the gym, go do some weights. All right. It's just, it tickles me pink sometimes. But anyway, it is what it is. All right. So again, congratulations for those who have joined us. I believe it's going to be an amazing 12 weeks. And I believe everybody that is on the call with us now, and folks that couldn't make it now but will join us later, I believe everybody is going to benefit. But again, it comes down to look at the purple square there. I'm colorblind, so if I call these colors different colors, just don't worry about it. To me, it looks purple. It says goals. Is that purple, LaVonne?
Yes, it is.
Close enough to purple. Okay. So we need to set out some goals, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit this evening as well. And then hopefully we'll have 4 or 5 minutes at the end for some Q&A. All right. And please, folks, I'll ask people this all the time. Make them easy questions, ones that I can answer. Don't make them difficult questions. All right. And here's something else you'll learn about me. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to just suck something out of my thumb. I will tell you I don't know. All right. And we'll figure it out. Okay. So if I say I don't know, it's because I don't know. It's not because I'm trying to avoid the question. All righty. I like what LaVonne's got here. Without freedom, you can't have truth. And without truth, you can't have health. And without health, you don't have the strength to fight for freedom. It's so important. People say freedom. What does freedom mean to you? Well, everybody has a different take on it. But I think in terms of health, freedom means you're able to get up and do things. You're able to get outside and spread the word of Jesus Christ. All right. How many people has the devil got stuck at home because they can't get up? They don't have the energy to get their rear end off the couch. All right. Just to go outside and knock on the neighbor's door and say, hello, I'm your neighbor. I'd love to have coffee. All right. So from a spiritual point of view, unhealthy lifestyle is stopping us from doing what God created us to do. So we have to keep that in mind. All right. We're going to talk about health and exercise, but at the end of the day, why do you want to be strong and healthy? Just so you can impress your neighbor with your biceps, or you can run 20 miles in 2 minutes? That is a big deal. So what? Who cares? All right. Question is, when running those 20 miles, how many people can you reach for Jesus? That's the important question. Not how fast can I run those 20 miles. All right. So said I wasn't going to preach, so I won't preach. All right. So what you think about, you bring about. And LaVonne's going to do a nice little session on your mindset, because we do have to change our mind about certain things. We've been told a lot of things over the years, facts versus fallacies. It's just, it's ridiculous. Especially in America with our food. You've got to eat so many grains per day and you'll be healthy. No, you won't. All right. And then we need to figure out what's going on inside of us. How intelligent is your gut? What's it doing? Is it doing the right thing? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? And then your food choices. That plays a big role in eventually, are you going to be on drugs, and what are they going to do to you? So we have to be careful what we eat. And in America, it is difficult, folks. I'm telling you now, it's difficult. I cannot eat bread in America. It hurts. I blow up. I fart like a two-stroke. It's not funny. All right. But I spent 2 weeks in Greece in June, and every port that I went sailing there for 2 weeks, and every little port that we stopped in, they had these waterfront restaurants. And I'm talking, they small islands, population of 600. That's it. And every time we go sit down to a meal, they bring out this bread and the olive oil and the balsamic vinegar. And when you're hungry and you're waiting for your main meal, you tend to eat the bread. So I ate the bread. For 2 weeks, I ate bread. I had no problems, none whatsoever. But I cannot eat the bread in America, which tells you something. All right. So after a good meal, you go to sleep. That's when your body's going to fix itself up, and all the damage that you caused through the day, that's when it's time for your body to repair, and then exercise. And I'm looking forward to that one, because that's going to change a few minds out there. All right. You've got to be fit and ready to rock and roll. All right. And then the next slide, LaVonne, when you're ready. Oh, one of my favorites, hormones and cholesterol. If you don't have one, you're not going to have the other. I'll leave that as that, just right there. Your metabolic health, that is your overall health picture. And a lot of things fall into the metabolic category. We're talking things like diabetes, overweight, obesity, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. What's the other one where you forget things? Alzheimer's, heart disease, blood pressure, you name it. That's all under metabolic diseases. And they call it that because it's all food related. So there you go. And we'll have folks coming in for that. We got my bride, Yvette, and her business partner, Johan. We'll have them on as guests. They will talk about some of those things and give you some nitty-gritty on that. And then honor your vessel. God has designed our bodies to work a certain way with certain nutrients, and we need to honor that. That is what's going to keep us strong and healthy. You know that the first sin in the Bible was a disobedience on a food law. Who knows what it is? Anybody shout it out if your mics are on.
Do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
So don't be eating the fruit on that tree. And what did the woman go and do? She ate the fruit, and we're all suffering because of it. All right. I'm not blaming women in general. It's just there were two of them there and only one did it. So, you know that they reckon the fall of man wasn't because of the apple in the tree. It was the pear on the ground. Just a little bit of humor there. Very little indeed. All right. Where we at? And then detox. We got to get stuff out of us. We don't want things living in us that shouldn't be there. So we've got to get them out. And then we'll go through the 9 best doctors, sunshine, sleep, etc., etc. We'll go into detail on that later. But those are important. So those are the topics for the next 12 weeks. If you think you've got friends or family that might need to know about hormones and cholesterol, tell them to join us. All right. But tell them to join us from tomorrow, this week already, or next week, so they can get a background as to why we're talking about certain things in a certain order. All right, Miss LaVonne.
All right. So
you ready?
Absolutely. And so one of the passions that I have is to help people to give them a different choice. Sometimes people feel like they're backed in the corner. They're being told a doomsday message and they don't have choices with their life. And so I'm going to give 2 slides here on one of the things that sparked our inspiration to do this for Tony and I. And that's with how many people are running to get this, what they call miracle G1, GLP 1 shot for weight loss. And so I happened to find one of their first commercials that came out, and I noticed that they were using the song It's Magic. And then I also saw something on the commercial, the marketing, that I actually did a snapshot, and I was shocked to discover that they actually were saying it's trialed medicine, so we don't need your faith. I don't know about you, but that just makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. And the other was real medicine, they doesn't need your faith. So in other words, trust their magic and do not use your faith for the healing of your own body. Anyhow, that just blows my mind. I'm going to leave it at that. You make your determination as to whether or not this may speak to you or say something to you. But for me personally, I just feel very uncomfortable with something that is coming from a pharmaceutical company, and their very first advertisement is, "This is magic. We do not need your faith. Completely and totally trust us with this." So these are some of the risk factors as we talk about weighing the risk. And some of you may be, taking this. There's no condemnation. There's no judgment going on here. We are simply wanting to share information, because I do know there are some people that, because I've gotten the phone calls, that are ready to get off of it because of some side effects. And there are others that are contemplating getting on it that actually want informed information, a complete disclosure of information about it. So there are major issues to do with digestion. You're losing muscle, I think 40%, and what I'm quoting to you is from documented research. 40% of what you're losing is muscle. There's thyroid issues, thyroid cancers that are popping up. And these are all what's been listed in lawsuits already. Brain neurotransmitter hijacking. They've actually discovered that these shots don't just isolate in the gut. They actually migrate to the brain, and they have found that it's in the brain of the animals that they've been experimenting on. And your calorie count drops down very low. So a lot of people are suffering from malnourishment. And Europe actually declared that they were going to monitor it heavily because of suicidal thoughts that people were having. And this may have to do with the fact that it's hijacking your neurotransmitters, affecting your serotonin levels, because it kicks in depression and personality changes. I recently spoke with an ER doctor, and I asked her, what's the major things that you see coming into the emergency room? She did not hesitate. She told me very quickly, it's side effects from the GLP shot. So that's all I'm going to say about it at this moment, because our goal and our focus is not to pound on this particular medication that's being administered right now. It is alarming though, and I just wanted to bring a little bit of attention to it. So let's go on and talk about the first thing we need to do is change our mindset. Go ahead, Tony.
I just want to interrupt there. You skipped over eyes, which is not a crisis, but I want to mention something about eyes.
Yes.
My beautiful bride is a pharmacist, and she deals with people day in and day out. Most of her patients that she deals with are diabetics, and they are non-compliant diabetics. They want to eat whatever, they just want more meds. And the others are people that are on the GLP-1 programs. And a lot of them are complaining about their eyesight. And it has been noted that people are going blind from using these products. All right. So just a heads up, if people are on it and they want to get onto it for a short period of time, fine. But I don't think we can live on it. And Yvette has always maintained that drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, man-made drugs, have a place in medicine. They have a short-term place. Things like depression, antidepressants. They're there 6 to 12 weeks while you get counseling to get over your grief. All right. But doctors put people on antidepressants for 40 years. It's not supposed to be like that. All right. So drugs have their place, but for short term. All right. So I'm going to leave that there. And I just want you folks to be aware, if you know somebody that are on these things, all right, like LaVonne says, I'm not here to tell you to get off the stuff. That's not my place to do that. But what we want to do is just support you through this and help you make better choices when it comes to your food and supplements as to how you can help yourself while using certain medications. Okay, so
Yes.
I'll leave that there for now.
Well said, Tony. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because that is something that is very, very serious, because there's no warning. People would just wake up and they're blind and there is no cure. And that's happening by the thousands, and they're filing lawsuits by the thousands. So that is very true. So the first thing that we need to address is our mindset. To make right choices, we've got to listen to the right voices. It's simple. It's not easy, because it has to do with an act of discipline, learning a new skill, but it's well worth it. The rewards are great. So step number one is we take back our power by administering our power to make a different choice. So, do you want to be well? I tell you, you wouldn't be on this Zoom if you did not want to be well. Do you want to be free? You wouldn't be here if you did not want to be free. So, you've made the first step, the first choice. I want to be well. I want to be free. So, your body will do whatever you tell it to do once you give it a reason to trust you. So your body is just a receiver. Your brain is a receiver, and it just receives the impressions and the thoughts and the emotions that are connected to those thoughts as you download them through all of your experiences. So if your past experiences has been a bit negative, and let's say, like everybody in life, that we have tried certain avenues and it didn't turn out so well, then rest assured that you can take your power back by choosing a different mindset, choosing a different thought, choosing a thought will actually switch out and change your emotions. So we change, first of all, how we talk to our body. I like to share with people, how do you talk to your body? Do you talk down to your body? Do you look in the mirror and do you say negative things about, how you look? I heard a story recently about Abraham Lincoln, and that how Abraham Lincoln struggled with his looks when he looked into the mirror. And there were times in his life where, let's say, things were going so well for him in the political arena, and we don't think of, the struggles that somebody went through. We just see Abraham Lincoln's on, our money, his picture. We see his, picture everywhere. We know him as a great icon in the United States of America, but nobody really knows the backstory of how he struggled because of how he looked. So he talked negatively about his looks, and he would think very negatively. He would isolate himself. And he got to a point where he was very depressed. And so somebody had to go to him and let him see a different point of view, a different perspective about his image. And it's the same thing with us, is if there's been a message that's been burned into our thought patterns that's been negative, then we have to re-examine that thought pattern. And then we have to say, okay, God, is this true? We have to ask this question about that thought. Is it true? And we have to line it up with what God's word says about us, but what our Creator says about us. Because if we change what we believe, we will actually change what we eat. Because a lot of times our emotions that are attached to our negative thought patterns cause us and drives us to eat foods that keep us in that negative loop. So, one of the things that I have personally learned is it doesn't work to say, I'm not going to think these thoughts. I'm not going to think these thoughts. I'm not going to think these thoughts. That does not work. So your brain actually has to introduce a brand new chemical, and it's the chemical of gratitude that they've done brain scans on people to show that it lights up a different area of your brain, and actually allowing your brain to have a completely different outlook as to and an outcome because you're switching that negative chemical with a positive chemical, and gratitude does that for you. So instead of saying, I hate the way I look, I hate how fat I am, I hate, how I'm aging, or I hate the color of my hair or the color of my eyes, just say, Lord, I'm grateful for how you made me. You made me perfect. You made me, in your likeness and your image. And you're the one that chose for me to have my skin pigmentation, my eye color, my hair color, all the unique things. And there's nobody in this planet like me. Nobody. You're unique. And God wants to use that uniqueness. So we honor our body. We don't shame our body. We're grateful to how God created us. And we have to say it verbally out of our mouth, because your brain only listens to your voice. It will only trust your voice. So we can verbally say, Lord, forgive me for talking down to your creation. And so I want to change my verbiage, and I want to be grateful about how you created me. So trust yourself to do the best thing to support your body in this process and in this journey of health and restoration. So your mind and your brain they do two different things. And so you say, who's the boss? We used to think the brain was the boss. Well, they have discovered that it's actually the mind that is the boss. And your mind is the layers of experience and how you interpret your experiences. It's not necessarily the experience. It's more the impression of how you interpreted that experience that forms your belief systems, forms your values, and then ultimately forms your identity. And this is why when we take back our power, we're able to make a different choice. And so when we make a different choice, we can change our negative belief systems, and we can switch out our values and switch out our identity that lines up with our creator and what he says about us. So the brain is simply the hardware that interprets the mind. The mind is the boss. And feelings are fast. They seem so fast. They seem so loud. But guess what? They'll lie to you about 80% of the time. And so if you want to change your feelings, you have to change your belief system. So it's kind of like a dashboard on a car that says, a flashlight that's blinking saying, your tire pressure is low, or your oil is low on your vehicle. All that's telling you is an indicator that you need to check your belief system, because those our emotions are like, okay, if they're negative emotions and you find yourself dwelling on those negative emotions too often, then you might want to check your belief system. So if you want a different emotion, you're going to have a different belief system. And habits are repeated lies from long ago. So this is where it takes a little bit of discipline. It takes a little bit of learning a new skill, but the brain throws a thought with a strong feeling. So it happens so fast. And so I'm going to teach you a 5-second rule here, that you've got 5 seconds before it hits the part of the brain that only acts out of fear. And so when you take back your power, you're actually saying, I'm not going to react out of fear anymore. I'm going to actually establish my identity, my belief system in trust, love, and truth. What does God's words say about who I am? And what can I really trust at this moment? And am I feeling loved at this moment? So the 5-second rule is you take in a deep breath and you exchange the thought that is negative for a gratitude thought by saying it out loud. And it's as simple as throwing a thought, oh my goodness, I'm feeling less than. I'm in a room, a crowd of people, and they all look like, let's say, 30-year-old models, and I am middle-aged and past. And so I'm not fitting And so I'm feeling the sensation that, oh my goodness, do I belong here? Do I fit in here? I'm less than. And anytime you feel less than, then just take a deep breath and as you draw in your breath, take in a scripture. Well, God has not given me, and then breathe out, a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. And that just might be one that and Cheryl knows this, we used to teach this. I love that verse because it covers so many things. And so just practicing that, saying it out loud, 5 seconds is what you have to pull it out of the fear-based part of your brain back into the front lobal part of your brain so that you can recognize that, wait a minute, is this true? How can I examine this and line it up with what God says about who I am? So as your gratitude goes up, anxiety actually goes down. They have monitored brains and showed that blood pressure comes back into normal. Heart rates come back into normal. Cortisol levels go down. Insulin levels actually go down when you practice this 5-second rule. So in other words, you're dialing down that fear-based part of the brain so you have a better opportunity to dial up the front lobal part of the brain so that you can make better sound decisions that you won't regret down the road. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And James 1:19 says, be quick to listen. That's where you got pause. And then slow to speak. All right, breathing it in, doing a little box breathing, 4 short breaths in, speaking the word, and then hold it for 4 seconds, and then breathe it out, slow to anger. So you have that 5-second rule, and we all know the fire is on the tongue. It's quick, it's sharp, it can divide, it can cut fast, but you get to choose and refuse the old thoughts, no longer being forced into a response that you'll regret. Proverbs 14:29, whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly. I love Proverbs 17:27. Can you guard your tongue when your heart is under pressure? Now, folks, this takes practice. It is a skill that is learned. I wish they taught this in school, right? This is how you show your level of wisdom. Feelings are not facts. They're simple chemical events. And that's why you cannot fight the feeling. You simply replace it with a brand new chemical, and the gratitude releases a brand new chemical in the brain for you to resolve that conflict. So what mood are you in? Examine. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I didn't get a good night's sleep last night. Maybe I just had a hard day at work or a hard day throughout the day, and I just need to take a 5-minute breathing exercise. I need to take my shoes off and go walk on the grass and get some grounding. What is your past experiences, and what are your habits? These are things that you can start journaling. Proverbs 18:21, power of life and death is found in the tongue, and those who love it will eat the fruit of your words and your thoughts. So Jeremiah 17:9 says the heart is deceitful above all things. That's beyond who can understand it. So in other words, learning how to rise to your intention and don't fall to your old patterns of rehearsal. Now, this takes a little time, takes a little energy, motivation, effort, but I'm telling you, it is well worth it. What thoughts and feelings are you presently rehearsing? Taking a pause, stepping back, examining them. David said, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you, Lord. So as you can actually put your hand on your chest as you speak the word, because like Philippians 4, 6, and 7 talks about be anxious about nothing. So that can be something that you can say when you feel a bit of anxiety, when you feel your heart and you feel a bit of cortisol dumping into your system. You can put your hand on your heart and breathe in, but be anxious for nothing. But in prayer and thanksgiving, make your requests be made known unto the Lord, and he'll grant to you his peace. And just breathe in his peace. Why? Because they have put electrodes on people who practice prayer, and they found that the front part of their brain, which is where they make their good, sound, wise decision making, is 22% increased when you do this. So it's learning to regulate your brain during the emotion, not suppress or express the emotion, but to actually dial up a brand new emotion with a brand new release of brain chemistry so that you can start speaking life and truth and love and hope over your body. So think differently to get a better outcome. To get better, training your brain to go another state of mind that will change the outcome. You have that 5 seconds, identify the thought, do a thought biopsy, evaluate the thought, connect the feeling. Maybe you're just feeling left out, or you're feeling a bit disappointed about something. Maybe you're just sad about something that may have happened during the day or a phone call you've gotten. So just acknowledge the feeling, write it down in your journal, and then replace it with a gratitude. Relabel the thought, be honest, ask the origin of the thought, repurpose the thought, gratitude, love, trust, and truth. I tell you, if you get nothing out of this class but to write that down, let love, trust, and truth be your goal. And if you do that over your body, your mind, your will, your emotions, your physical body, you will experience a transformation. So make a different choice and enjoy a better outcome and release a new chemical in the brain. Make your the scripture says, let's make our crooked paths straight again by choosing a path with less sorrow, less pain, and better health. So this is just a simple way of identifying your individual autonomy, your agency, taking your power back, because if things happened to you when you were a child, you might not have had a choice about it. But now that you're an adult, you do have a choice. And so you're taking your power back for choosing a different thought, choosing to attach a different emotion with that thought so that you can find a purpose, a meaning, and a hope into your future. So a healthy new you journey is your spirit, soul, and body. So when you were born, yeah, you look like your parents. But when you die, guess what? You look like your choices. So we want to start making better choices. Has to start with our belief system first and foremost, because the ill-informed become ill. And we are encoded to be in full fellowship with our Creator. And anything that speaks a word in contrary to what God says about us, we need to examine it, because it's coming out of a spirit of fear and not out of love, trust, and truth. So we need to fully attach our goals, our life, everything to our Creator. I love this. With the word idols that somebody shared with me, that the I stands for I, and then D, desire, O, other, L, love, sources. So in other words, idolatry is going somewhere else to meet your needs that only God can meet. Wow. So whatever we put into our body, we take on the pathology of the thing. So we make sure it's going to be a good thing. And we're going to talk about the good things. We're not just going to rant and rave about the bad things, but we're going to talk about the good things. So you too can make a difference. Back to you, Tony.
Awesome. Thank you, LaVonne. You know, something that came to mind while LaVonne was going through all of this. You all heard the saying, charity begins at home. All right. And I think we know what that means. But if we go back to what's in the word, what did Jesus say is the greatest commandment? Is to love one another as you love yourself. If you can't love yourself, if you can't accept yourself, I think we're going to have a hard time in life loving other people. All right. You have to be okay with who you are. I don't care how tall you are, how short, how wide, it doesn't matter, how skinny, it makes no difference. All right. That's just the outer you. You got to know what you are down here or in here, in your heart. Who are you? All right. You have to believe that you are one of God's greatest creations. That way you can be a blessing to other people. All right. Don't ever forget that. Don't forget that. It doesn't matter what you look like. You know, at one point I said to Vet, I've got to get into shape. She says, Tony, round is also a shape. Well, okay. That was a bit harsh, but anyway. So yeah, we all have work to do on our physical, all right? But we have to get the mental part working properly.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that what you're embarking on here in this 12-week program, if you don't believe that it's going to make a difference, it probably won't.
Mm-hmm.
It probably won't. So you have to believe it. And you can't just believe, you actually have to do something about it as well. So once you've made up your mind, I'm going to do this. Don't say, I'm going to try. Tries are good enough. I'm going to do this. Come hell or high water. And if you stumble along the way, if you eat the whole chocolate cake, well, fine, so be it. But just when you're done with it, just wipe the crumbs off your lap, get up and move on and go do the next right thing. Okay? We're not going to hold anybody's feet over the fire and threaten you with all sorts of stuff. That's not how this works. This program is entirely up to you if it's going to work or not. I know LaVonne's got information. I've got information that if you use it, it will work. But we have to decide to use it and kind of stick to the program. And again, it's not a difficult program. It really isn't. Okay, you're not going to be eating just 2 cans of sardines a day. All right, it works up to a point. All right, after 3 days, you're going to smell like a sardine and you're going to want to devour everything that's in front of you. So we're not doing anything weird and wonderful. Basic stuff. Basic. All right. I tell people all the time, eat the food that God made for us. That's where we start. That's my foundation. When I counsel with anybody, my first question is, and LaVonne can back me up on this one, my first question is, what's on your plate? Mm-hmm. That's where we start. If you've got the wrong stuff on your plate, we need to change that. That's where we start, because everybody has a plate of food at some point in the day. So we've got to look at that. All right. And we'll get to that. Did you all get a pen and something to write on? Because we're going to need to write a few things down. We've got 10 minutes and we can do this in 10 minutes, folks. I believe in you. We can do this. All right. Our goals for this program, me and LaVonne, 2 goals, essentially. Excuse me. First goal is to get you healthy. Goal number 1 is to get you healthy. And our second goal is to make sure that if you want to do this for some weight loss, you're actually losing weight, but more importantly, you're maintaining that weight loss. That's the important part here. All right. Anybody can lose 10 pounds in 10 days. because 90% of that is just the water retention that you got going on. But after 10 days, what happens then? Well, now you don't lose a pound a day. Now you're losing a pound a week. And that can be frustrating. So write this down on your piece of paper there. The scale is from the devil. All right? That scale is going to lie to you every single day. So do not use it. You can use it on day one because we need a base of where you're at. So yes, today, now, this evening, when we're done here, or tomorrow morning, whenever, preferably within the next 24 hours or so, get on a scale and write down your current weight. You don't have to share it with us unless you want to. I'm not opposed to that. If you want to come on here and say, I currently weigh 125 pounds and I need to lose 100 pounds, fine, we'll celebrate that with you. All right? But we're not asking you to come back next week and tell us what you weigh. LaVonne, I sent LaVonne a progress report, a little one page. I don't know if LaVonne sent that out to everybody concerned.
I didn't, because you're gonna need to send me your email so I can send you the tracker sheet that we put together to track your eating.
Okay.
And I'd like to send it to everybody, but I'll need your email for that. And I can post my phone number and you can text me. Will that
please,
work?
folks. Yeah, please do that, because it's important. We need to see, and we might ask you at some point if you're willing, just to share that tracker with us. But it's a guide for you to see, are you getting to where you need to be? Are you eating the right amount of food, etc., etc., etc.? Are you eating too much? Are you not eating enough? Which is also a problem. Not eating enough is a big problem. Okay, so send LaVonne your email address. Let us send you that information. Print it out if you still print things these days. Go down to UPS, they'll print it for you. But that's our two goals, to get you healthy and to make sure if you're losing weight that you've lost it. It's not coming back. All right? Would it motivate you if I said to you, think of it this way, all the weight that you lose, give that to somebody you don't like. Would that motivate you? All right? The weight you've lost, give that to somebody else. So, all right.
Isn't that what they do in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah. Then we need to work on your goals. Now, everybody's different. All right. Whoa, what a cute little baby you got there. Yeah, holy cow. We need to work on your goals. Everybody's different. All right. So, one of the first things you can write down is your goal weight. How much do you want to weigh? All right. And don't factor in things like, well, maybe just 10 pounds down. If you know you can weigh 150 because you used to at one point, then write down your goal weight. I don't care how far to reach it might seem, or if it's just around the corner, it doesn't matter. Write it down. We have to write it down. And again, weigh yourself today or tomorrow morning, write down your current weight, and then don't get on the scale again until, I don't know, 2 weeks from now. All right, maybe a week from now. Do not get on that scale every day. It is so depressing to see that scale do nothing. It's very, very depressing, and it's not motivational at all. At all. All right. On that form that LaVonne is going to send you, there's a tracker on there for your food choices, not your food choices, your the grams of protein and stuff. And we'll get to that in a second. But at the bottom of that page is your measurements, body measurements. So we're talking about it's easier if you just start at the top and work your way down. So bust/chest, all right? Take that measurement. Your waist measurement, your hips, and then your thighs. And then also measure your arms, your bicep area. Write those numbers down. And the reason I say write those down is because what you're going to find happening is that scale is going to go down a pound or two, and you're going to get very frustrated. But if you take your measurements once a week, you're suddenly going to find, hey, my waist has got a bit smaller. Oh, my thighs are shrinking. All right. You're going to find your clothing is going to be very loose, even though the scale might not say it. So don't believe what the scale is telling you. Believe the tape measure that you're using. All right. So definitely take your measurements. All right. Find yourself an accountability partner. I don't care who it is. If you want to pick LaVonne, pick LaVonne. If you want to pick me, fine. You can get your sister, your cousin, your dog trainer's second cousin who works for the IRS, who knows somebody that owns a pool company. Get that person. I don't really care. Get yourself an accountability partner. Very, very important. They don't have to be on the program with you. Just call them up and say, listen, Susie, I've started a 12-week program. I need somebody to hold me accountable because I suck at holding myself accountable. All right. Yvette and I have a business partner check-in every Thursday, 5:30, and we go through how many people did we meet, how many phone numbers did we get, and it's actually it's quite humbling to sit there and see the other guy. Oh, he made 5 contacts this week, and I made 1. Like, okay, I got to step it up a notch. All right, accountability partners are crucial. Please, please, please get yourself one. All right. And here's the other thing that I want to, this is where you need to write down some math real quick, because this is going to be important. So there's certain foods that are good for you, certain foods that are not good for you, and there's nothing in between. It's black and white. There is no gray area. All right. Protein and fat is super important. Carbohydrates, not important at all. So don't ever think you have to go eat carbs. You don't have to. Your body will make it when it needs it. But you have to eat fat and you have to eat protein. And I'm not going to hammer on it too much, but I want you to work out how much protein am I supposed to be eating? Because we all get told a portion the size of the palm of your hand, that's how much you need. Well, yeah, maybe 5 times a day, but not just once a day. I think everybody in America, except the people that I've spoken to that have got onto a different diet, everybody is lacking protein in their diet. Seriously lacking protein. We aren't getting enough. So here's the math. You've written down your goal weight. All right? Whatever it is, I don't know. I'm going to pick a number because this number is easy for me to work with. I'm going to go with 150 pounds. That I'm not telling you that's your goal weight. I'm just throwing out some numbers. You need to eat, write this down, 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Not current body weight.
Mm-hmm.
Goal weight. So 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal weight. So if my goal weight is 150 pounds, I need to eat 150 grams of protein. If you can get that written down, highlight that. But now we have to do the math real quick. So let's go back to 4th, 5th grade math. If I take a piece of meat, I don't care what it is. If it's a chicken breast, a handful of ground beef, a ribeye steak, pork chop, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter, okay? Half a duck, doesn't matter. The average is 25% of that chunk of meat is considered protein. So only 1/4 of that piece of meat before you cook it is protein. Now, why am I saying this? Because everybody thinks, okay, so I got to eat 150 grams of protein, so they whip out a 150-gram piece of steak. It's not all protein. Only 25% of that 150-gram piece of steak is protein. The rest is fat and water and connective tissue. So what you need to do then is take, okay, I need 150 grams of protein. If 25% of that piece of meat is protein, I need to multiply that piece of meat by 4. So if I need 150 grams of protein, I need 600 grams of meat. If I've lost you right now, tell me now, because we need to figure this out. We need to make sure you all got it. Does the math add up? Does it make sense? We all good? All right. That's how you're going to calculate how much meat you need to eat on a daily basis. Now, that isn't per serving. That's for the entire day. So let's put it in the form of a steak, for example. So if you need to have 150 grams of protein, you need a 600-gram piece of steak. 600
Tony?
grams. Yes.
You lost me.
Okay.
This
Which
is
part?
this is Dean. I'm lost on how much meat to eat.
Okay. So you take your,
Back.
you take how much protein you need according to your goal weight,
Yeah,
and you multiply that by 4.
right.
That will give you the size of the piece of meat that you need. Because if you go buy, let's say you go buy a pack of hamburger patties, and there's 8 hamburger patties in this pack. But if you read on the back, on the nutrition panel, it says there, servings per container, 8. Serving size,
Right.
1 patty. Okay. So serving size is 1 patty. Then it gives you how much of everything is in one serving size. It tells you how much fat is in there, how many carbohydrates are in there, how much protein is in there, how much vitamin A, and etc. And you'll see by protein, if one serving size is a 100-gram patty, it's going to tell you protein, 25 grams.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go look, if you have some frozen food, some frozen meats in your fridge or freezer, go look on there. It'll tell you exactly how much protein is in a serving size, and it'll tell you how heavy that serving size is. And you can see it's right around at 25 grams per 100. 23, 27, 21, somewhere around there. Just take it at 25 as the average. Chicken is a little bit higher. That doesn't matter. Okay. So you need 150 grams of protein if you want to weigh 150 pounds. So that 150 grams, multiply that by 4, because only 1/4 of your meat portion is protein. So if you need 150 grams, you need a 600-gram piece of meat. That will give you 150 grams of protein, because a quarter of 600 is 150. Okay. Does
So
that
how
make
much
sense?
meat is that?
Depends on
I don't know
how
if
much.
anybody else is lost, but
So 600 grams is 20 ounces.
okay.
Yeah. And like I said, that is for the day. That's not per meal. All right. So you need 20 ounces of meat for the day. If your goal weight is 150 pounds. Now, if you want to weigh 120 pounds, it's different. Then it's 120 times 4, which is 480 grams, which is a 16-ounce piece of meat. So it depends on what your weight is that you want to weigh. I want to weigh 200 pounds. So I need 200 grams of protein, which means I need an 800-gram piece of steak, which is a 40-ounce piece of steak for the day.
Jennifer's got her hand up.
I see. But before I get to Jennifer, because I know she's going to inform us, yeah, or correct me, or chastise me somewhere along the line. But I want to make sure that we're all, if you understand that math, does it make sense? Those that have got their videos on, give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. Karen, do you need some help? Okay. All right, Miss Jennifer, what did I do wrong?
Nothing, never. No, I was gonna, are you giving those numbers for carnivore, or is that just 100 like that's the grams of protein? And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, I was gonna call you like separately and ask you this, but do you care if I ask you over like something that I heard about protein?
Can you wait until I say I'm done?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Okay, so a very good question from Jennifer. Is this for a carnivore diet or keto diet or a standard American diet? I don't care what diet
How do
you're
you
on.
raise your hand on Zoom?
By the react, there's a little heart at the bottom, react. Click on there and there'll be a thing that says raise hand.
Where it says more.
Oops.
Oh, there we go, Jennifer. You found it. Okay. So this isn't the numbers I gave you there isn't for a specific type of diet. That's just the minimum protein that the average person needs to get on a daily basis,
Yeah,
regardless of what diet you're following.
right.
But here's the kicker. And I would suggest you do this. Eat your protein first.
Yes.
All right. So if you weigh out what the amount of meat that you need to eat, excuse me, if you weigh out how much meat, and it needs to be raw meat, that you need for the day. I don't care if it's just a steak or if it's bratwurst or if it's ground beef or sliced Peking duck, it doesn't matter. All right. Look at how much you need for the day. That's how much protein you have to eat for that day.
Mm-hmm.
So focus on eating your protein. All right. Focus on getting your protein. And the reason I say that is because our protein is what builds you. Your body, every one of you that I can see here, and even those I can't see because I know there's a person hiding behind that picture. Your body is made up of protein, fat, and water. It's not made up of carbohydrates. Sarah, if a person doesn't eat meat, they are going to have a very hard time getting to their protein goals for the day. You can get protein from beans and lentils, that sort of stuff, but you're going to have to eat copious amounts. But the problem with that is it comes with a huge amount of carbohydrates with it.
Yeah.
All right. And the carbohydrates is what's causing our problems. So it is a challenge for a person that's vegetarian or vegan along those lines, that, or just people that don't like meat. You know, they might be just regular folks, but they don't like meat. Do your best to try and like it. It's important. Okay. Beef and lamb are your two healthiest options in terms of the nutrient and the fat content. So try get those. Chicken and fish are fine. Pork is okay. Some people don't want to eat pork, and that's fine. I'm 100% okay with that. Some people don't want to eat seafood like shrimp and crab because they're bottom feeders. Well, that's fine. Don't eat it. You know, if chicken makes you sick, don't eat it. Okay. If beef literally makes you sick, physically ill, then don't eat it. All right. But you have to find a way to get that protein in. And people that don't want to eat meat are going to have a hard time finding their required amount of protein for the day, just out of vegetables and nuts and seeds and grains and that sort of stuff. And it does come with a lot of side effects, all right, because of all the grains. Okay.
Right.
Are we all good on the math?
Yes. And Tony, we've got 2-3 people with hands up. And just a word of
see.
advice. It is kind of a substantial research on your blood type as to A blood type does have a harder time digesting meat, red meat, and all you need to do is add some enzymes to that to solve that problem, generally speaking. But O positive blood type loves meat, and I'm O positive. That's why I've always craved meat. But great questions, great advice. And remember to look at my phone number, send me your email. I'll be glad to send you our tracker. So let's go with Chrissy was first, then Jennifer second, and then the other Jennifer. There's two Jennifers there, but we'll go to Chrissy Mann and then Jennifer Lair.
Hey, Tony, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation this evening.
Yes.
So
How are you?
I would like to lose 30 pounds at
Okay.
least.
All right.
And so I think I'm going to ramp up my meat because I am an A positive blood type. And it's so wonderful to have this information so that we can reach these goals.
Yes.
Good. Good.
Thank you so much, Tony and LaVonne.
Awesome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. There was somebody else. There was Jennifer.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
So I do like meat. I will eat meat. I understand the math, but I also like to drink protein powder. If I do choose to do a protein powder and I'm finding one that has less than or 15 grams of carbohydrates or less, is that good enough, or do I really need to go as low carb as possible?
Now, if you don't have carbohydrate problems, put it that way, okay?
Yeah.
If you're not diabetic and you don't have heart disease and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, that amount of carbohydrates for a regular healthy person is okay. It's nothing to worry about. But you don't have to look very far for a good quality protein. Neolife has the best one on the market. And it's got, I think, 18 grams of carbs, I
Yeah.
think, which is about the same as an apple.
Okay.
All right. Which is
Okay.
going to be just fine. But yes, and keep in mind, folks, that whatever your goal weight is for your grams of protein, that's like my number was 150. If you eat an egg has got 6 grams of protein. So don't forget, if you eat an egg, take the 6 off the 150. All right. So the 150 is your protein, not just meat. It's all your protein sources. So if you eat 6 eggs for breakfast, there's 36 grams of protein right there. And if you put in a protein shake with 18 grams of protein, now you're up to 54 grams of protein for the day. So you only need 96 from other food, meat and more eggs, bacon, that kind of stuff. So there is a little bit of calculation that does need to get done. All right. It's just adding, subtracting, that sort of stuff. Okay. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. If anybody gets stuck, please don't just try and wing it. Call me, call LaVonne. I don't care. All right.
Right. And just a tip, Tony, the ratio of protein to an egg is six grams to 6 grams. It's not 25% of the 6 grams.
No, it's
it's
6 grams of
6
protein.
grams.
Yeah, so it's just 6 grams of protein per egg.
Yeah.
So if you like eggs and you don't like meat, have a lot of eggs. A lot. Just eat eggs until you feel like you're gonna puke. Just eggs are probably the perfect food. All right. It's got omega-3s in there, some omega-6s, it's got vitamin A and E, it's got all the stuff you need. All right. So go to town on eggs. Eat as many as you want. There's no limit as to how many eggs. All right. Jennifer
Awesome.
Christmas.
Yes. Real quick, a suggestion for people who are technically savvy and, need help tracking the protein. Carb Manager is an awesome app. It's free and it does everything for you. If you put in that you eat a 20-ounce piece of steak, it'll tell you, it breaks down the protein into the 25%. So
Okay,
that's
perfect.
just a suggestion. But what I was going to tell you is I've been seeing that as far as like the required protein for the day, I know you've always said like your goal weight, but I've been seeing where they've been saying you should eat your lean body mass. Like say my lean, like my Carb Manager app calculated my required protein at 157 grams, which I have 157 pounds of lean body mass. So it's calculating it to my lean body mass, not my ideal weight.
Okay, and that can be kind of tricky because so it's calculating it on your current lean body mass.
Right.
Okay, so if a person weighs 200 and it says your lean body mass is 157, that means there's 43 pounds of fat.
Mm-hmm.
That's my logic. That's how my math works. Okay. We're always going to have some fat on us. There's always a little bit there. It's for storage. It's for a rainy day when suddenly you're on a desert island, there's no food, and so your body will tap into some of that. But a lot of us have way too much storage. We're expecting a thunderstorm of epic proportions. Okay, so we just need to slow down on the rainy day fund. But I think without complicating it, you're probably right on that thing, that calculation, Jennifer. I don't know if everybody's able to get their lean body mass, if they've got a scale or a thing to measure it. So just I think as a general rule of thumb for now, let's just go your goal weight and work from that. All right. Okay. And then as people, it's like when I go to the gym, when I started going to the gym, my son helped me figure out a program. Now I know how to do the exercise. I've been working out from when I was a kid, in and out of gym, blah, blah, blah. My point is this. I come in there and there's some youngsters in there and they whipping these weights around. I don't know what they exercising. They're on a leg press machine. I don't know, whatever. And they're doing all sorts of funky things. They're going to hurt themselves. And I said to Austin, should I go tell the kid he's making a mistake? And Austin's like, no, leave him. If he really wants to know how to work out in the gym, he'll go research it. He'll go find out how to do it properly. All right. So this is my goal, is to help you guys, give you some basics. If you want to figure things out to fine detail, dig in. All right. Dig deep. Do like Jennifer's telling you. Go find out, where can I find out what my lean body mass is? What type of a scale do I need? Etc., etc., etc. Okay. Go do your own research. Because there's a saying I'll never forget: man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So I can come in here and tell you all sorts of stuff, but until you go and figure it out, learn it, get it burnt into your brain, it's not going to make a difference. Okay. So we're giving you some guidelines here. I expect you folks to go and do some homework. Jump online. And as smart as what AI is, it's still programmed to tell us we need to eat so many carbs. So be careful. All right. Be careful. Carbohydrates are non-essential to human life. You never have to eat them. Okay. So keep that in mind. So don't listen to everything AI tells you. You know, you don't have to eat 4 loaves of bread a day to get your carbs in. That's just no. All right. Yes. Dig deep. Look for people online. Look for ketogenic doctors, for example, or doctors that have put patients on ketogenic diet, doctors that have put people on carnivore diets, doctors that have put people on standard American diets. Do the comparison. Who's the healthier one? Don't worry about cholesterol numbers right now. Forget everything you read about cholesterol. We're going to talk about that later. But it's not something you need to worry about right now. Okay? I don't care what your cholesterol numbers are. And you'll see when we get to that section why I say that. Okay? So eat your meat Don't cut all the fat off. Don't buy the 93.7 ground beef. Buy the 80-20 ground beef. Buy the one that's got fat in it. You need the fat for the fuel, and you need the protein to rebuild you. All right, Loretta, one slice of Ezekiel bread is 5 grams of protein and flourless. But what have they used instead of flour? All right, that's the question. How did they make that bread? All right, nuts and seeds. What causes the, don't get me started. What causes the most amount of inflammation, LaVonne?
Seeds,
In our food,
seed
in our
oil.
seed oils and seeds. All right. So it might have 5 grams of protein in a slice of bread, but it's also got all the wrong oils in it. Okay. So it's organic, non-GMO oil that's going to cause inflammation.
Just hurt him a little bit, but
So, all right, folks, here's the thing. Eat the food that God made for us.
all right, take that and going. I don't know if it's change.
All right.
I'm going to
LaVonne,
run.
there we go. Eat the food that God made for us. Not the food that Wonder Bread made for us, or Tyson Foods made for us, or Kellogg's made for us. The food that God made for us. That's the food we need to eat. Did they eat bread back in the day? Yeah, they did. Yeah. Wheat, flour, and oil. Okay. Dash of water. But it was unleavened bread. It was not the fancy stuff we have today. All right. So, short answer, generally, yes. Long answer, it needs explaining, but at the end of the day, seeds are there. It's like, okay, we shouldn't be eating, there's a lot of vegetables we shouldn't be eating. I know we're over time, and if you folks want to leave, feel free to leave, but I want to just cover this topic in the next minute. There's a lot of plants have built-in toxins to protect themselves from being eaten. Okay, we don't want the rabbits to eat certain things. We don't want cows to eat certain things. That what's the name? That lettuce can't run anywhere, so it's got built-in toxins. Fruit, on the other hand, is sweet. Why is it sweet? Because it wants to be eaten by us and the birds. Because that way, those seeds can be spread. When that bird eats the fruit and he
Awesome.
drops a bomb while flying and it lands in my backyard, that seed is going to sprout, and I'm going to grow an apple tree in the backyard that I didn't plant. Okay? Brussels sprouts are disgusting. Broccoli is disgusting. Why? It's to stop things from eating it. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right? But I don't know anybody that's allergic to beef. Anybody know anybody that's allergic to beef? How many salmonella beef recalls have there been compared to lettuce recalls? All that kind of stuff. So beef is good. Beef is not going to cause cancer, folks. And I'm going to leave it there. All right. LaVonne, this is wonderful. Folks, I hope you all come back next week and bring people with you.
Hi, we have a question from one of our guests here.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You said fats are good, and I eat tons and tons of cheese on everything. I eat lots of butter. How much fats can I eat a day?
Your body will tell you when you've had enough.
But I was wondering, like if I have like say 12 slices of cheese and like a big cube of butter, is that going to be too much? Because I don't know.
Sounds like I need to come to your place for dinner.
So it's not bad to eat all that fat?
Cheese is my favorite.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah. No.
Go on in there.
Cheese. Here's the thing with cheese. Okay. I love cheese. I will eat a block of cheese. My kids think I'm crazy. I cut a 1-inch slice piece of cheese and I sit down and eat that. They all just laugh at me. All right. Go easy on the cheese. If if you're trying to lose weight, cut back on the cheese. Get more butter and beef than cheese. Okay.
The
I
butter
love
won't
cheese.
hurt if I eat a lot of butter.
Oh no, butter is you're going to be your best friend. Yeah. Butter is, you need the butter because it's got cholesterol in it, which is good for the hormones, which we'll talk about on week 3 or 4 or 5, somewhere down the road.
Like they
But,
say my
yeah.
cholesterol is really, really high, but it doesn't matter then, right?
Well, it depends. If it's the carbohydrates causing a high cholesterol, then it does matter.
I don't eat that many carbohydrates. I eat a lot of protein and a lot of fat. I eat like a lot of chicken with a lot of cheese on top.
You sound like me. I'll have a slice of cheese with a piece of bread underneath. Yeah. No, if your carbohydrate intake is on the low side, then don't worry about the cholesterol. And I'll give you some numbers down the road. Okay, there's formulas you can see what your heart disease risk is from cholesterol, but don't worry about it.
Like I can't take statins or anything like that to lower. It's just my cholesterol is always high.
No, don't take statins. They're going to kill you. Do not take statins. And LaVonne, this is going out.
We're being recorded, so watch what you're saying here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
disclaimer, disclaimer.
Yeah,
disclaimer. Let me put it this way.
Gave me heart palpitations. I can't take them.
I'm not a fan of statin drugs. Okay. I can't tell you to take it or not take it, but if my doctor said to me, you're going to put me on statins, I'll go find a new doctor. That's me. Okay. So do with that as you wish.
Yes.
Yeah, because I can't take them anyway. They'll give me really, really bad heart palpitations, so I can never take them.
Well, that's a good thing then. That's a good thing. Which it comes back to what I was saying earlier. You know, if you eat chicken and it makes you sick, don't eat chicken. If you're taking a drug that makes you sick, don't take the drug. Come on. We need to listen to these temples.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's the thing. So we've got to leave it there, folks. We have to respect
leave
your
it
time.
there. Yes. And I'm telling you, I appreciate everybody that lasted through over an hour, but thank you so much. I am so happy and excited about your results that you're going to get at the end of the 12 weeks. And so I am going to stop recording at this point in time. And